What's up, everyone? And today I'm being guided by two ancient ancestors. One coming out of the Yoruba tribe, and the other coming out of the Kemetic tribe. But since we're using Kemetic spirituality, let's get with the god Hapi first. The first knowing in loving yourself, the first knowing in loving yourself is to love your higher self first. That which is Ra, Netaru, Na Netarut. Translation: Ra, Re, Re, Ra, Re, as in the Holy Spirit. Netaru, meaning the creator in nature. Netarut, the creatress in nature. And up at the top, we see here a masculine heterosexual woman. You might have been a woman that had no mother in the home. She may have neglected you as a child to the point where the only person you had raised you is your father, or possibly even a grandmother. In addition, okay, same thing goes for the androgynous and or feminine heterosexual. And in this case, the feminine heterosexual or the androgynous heterosexual male socially wise is taught and raised by the single mother. So as the child grows up, he is prone, he is in tune, excuse me, not prone, but he is in tune to be in touch with the feminine aspect of himself. Although he is a man, whether he's conscious of it or not, he should be, because the first rule in knowledge, and this is a part of Kemetic philosophy, the first rule in knowledge is knowing of self first. Because in order to be self-conscious, you must be self-aware of who you are, how you think, how you feel, having a union with your intelligence, your emotions, and your golden intelligence, your divine intelligence, your soul, or what people in Kemet call the Ba, the soul, and the Ka, which is the spirit. Okay? We all want we we all want to love another being. But in order to give that being the type of love that it needs, and what you may want in return, one must have a union with its inner higher and highest of selves. Here, at the top of the screen, you see a glyph, and it's showing the image of a masculine straight woman. Okay? The straight alpha female. She knows excuse me. Forgive me. She knows no other sexual nature and culture but her own, and her desire is to is to be is to be with a man that is strong, independent, who's financially stable, and get this, if she's willing enough, and if you as a man are willing and humble enough to take her advice and wisdom, she may, out of the kindness of her heart and consciousness, be able to financially stabilize you. Now, for the man, on the other hand, but before I get to the man, I also want to state something that I forgot, and that is some women may have both parents, but let's just say, for instance, both of the parents work during the day, and they don't come home until late at night. So the alpha female may be the only woman out of her four or five brothers, or she might have 6 or more, depending on how many the parents are able to handle and stabilize financially. Okay? Mind you, this individual would be the only girl in her family. But her brothers have dominant energy. Okay? In Kemetic spirituality, the alpha male would be Heru. The the positive version of Heru, because there is a dark version of Heru. Okay? So you need the positive version of Heru and the positive aspect of Heru Kahuti. Heru represents spiritual truth, and Heru represents warriorship through the physical. So Heru Kahuti teaches you how to be a warrior and use warrior tactics from a physical perspective. So if the woman's brother teaches her how to defend herself, how to protect herself as a strong woman, she's not necessarily not gonna know how to be a woman because her brothers are raising her. She 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 doesn't. She's not aware of her womanhood as of yet. But you don't necessarily have to dress like a lady and act like a lady to be a strong woman. From our understanding, it's really about being yourself as you experience womanhood. Women can be warriors too. Let's stop with the stereotype, people. I was listening to a lecture earlier today about how there was a woman who was a witch who was able to conjure up the true consciousness of the prophet Samael. Excuse me, Samuel. Forgive me, Samuel. She was able to conjure the true consciousness and spirit of the prophet Samuel. Okay? Women have power. Alright? Now, for my favorite part, let's get to the men. Excuse me. Facial hair is itching really bad. When it comes down to the men who have an androgynous nature, in the beginning of their lifetime, the child may be raised with a single mother. The Either the father may have neglected the child, abused the wife in front of the child, or the child father had sadly passed away. So what is the woman left to do? The woman doesn't know how to teach a man how to be a man. Am I saying that the woman can't. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the idea of a woman teaching a young boy how to be a man is not necessarily in it's not necessarily a part of her purpose, because the woman's purpose in raising a young boy is how to be respectful to himself, to his mother, to his extended family members, to his friends and colleagues, and also to respect himself and others when he's out in the real world. Let's talk about for the dating scene for just a few seconds. Now, in androgynous heterosexuality, I told you all years ago that the path of the feminine heterosexual or the androgynous heterosexual, the feminine heterosexual or the androgynous heterosexual, um, the path of it is a very lonely path, because the young man is he's very well misunderstood by the rest of society, his peers, and perhaps his family. But does this make him less of a man? No. It is the idea that his own soul, his own golden divine being, his spirit, his being is okay. I'm following you, Hoppy. The young boy's spirit tells him, hey, that you are more than just a man. You also carry the aura and the traits of the divine feminine, because the the role of a divine mother is to be two things to a child. Excuse me, let's add three things. She is three things to her child. That is the nurturer, to teach him right and wrong, left and right, up and down, basic linear, mundane, third dimensional knowledge. She also teaches him how to protect himself, because when you protect yourself, you're learning. Excuse me. You're learning how to protect yourself and the things surrounding you, your surroundings. And lastly, the the divine feminine woman to the young androgynous boy, the androgynous heterosexual boy, she's able to teach him how to be financially stable, to make sure that he doesn't do foolish things with his money, because you really can't survive in the world without money. And coming soon, I'm going to be making a video about gold and silver. So be on the lookout for that. Furthermore, it is important that through the masculine woman who is a mother raising a young boy, she teaches him how to provide, protect, and be loving and show kindness to himself and other people. And when you do this, you will live a long and prosperous life. But believe me, I'm a living witness to that testimony, because I experienced it myself. Now, back to the dating aspect of things. You might be a single hetero androgynous male, is a single hetero androgynous female, and you 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 want to be loved by someone special, but no one's giving you the time. First thing you should do is learn to love yourself. And speaking of love yourself, I have a 2-minute ritual chant that you can use that will help you to love yourself and also accept your true spiritual identity. That being heteroandrogynous. I will go more in depth on things like this very soon, because we got a lot of stuff to cover and we got a lot of things to talk about. So I'll be stuck on Eastern Egypt for a while. Eastern Kemet, excuse me. So I'm going to sing a little bit of the chant, and then once this is uploaded to YouTube, I'm going to upload the chant to allow you to help you to love yourself as a straight androgynous being. Okay? Also, to love yourself as a male and female naturally first. And then the esoteric and metaphysical components come later. Yes. Alrighty then. So, um, again, as we said, to love yourself is to love your inner self, your higher self, your okay, your inner self, which is your soul, your higher self, which is your spirit, and your highest self, which would be your soul and spirit being as one being. Because the the physical body has an expiration date. Okay? I would go more in depth on this, but I have to get to my other job. So I really don't have too much time to spend on this. But I want my androgynous hetero community to always remember, in order to get your soulmate, twin flame, life partner, one 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 must take the path and embrace the path. And I know sometimes it's hard, but to but 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 to but to truly love your partner, you have to love the other aspect of your partner, which is you first. You have to love you have to love your body, accept your body. You have to love your spirit and accept your spirit, and also your your soul, and accepting the 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 inner heart and the knowledge of your soul, because you are a whole divine being, not a holy and or whole like when it comes down to prefixes and suffixes, but you are one being. You are that total soulmate and twin flame that you're looking for. Sure, we can ascend with other physical beings on this planet, but that's only if they're willing to. The true ascension starts with your growth, your level of awareness. You know, you have more than 9 levels of consciousness. Okay? You have more than 13. You have infinite levels of consciousness. The journey does not end. It's constantly spinning. Even if something gets thrown away and recycle, there's always going to be another object being built, like a cup being thrown in the trash, only to be turned into another cup. The cup may not look plastic anymore, but it'll take up it'll take on the shape of another cup used with a different material. So, with this said, love, love yourself before you can love your partner. Sorry about that. I reached my maximum limit. Forgive me, everyone. Um, as I said, love yourself before you can love someone else. Because if you don't learn to love yourself first, how is your partner supposed to love you back? How are you supposed to be able to learn how to love them too in the in the in the midst of loving oneself? Because remember, when you're on that journey of loving yourself, you're not just learning how to love yourself, but you're also being taught how to love your partner, your significant other, in the midst of learning how to love yourself. Okay? You can't be stingy with love. Love is not meant to be hindered for long periods of time. Love is meant to be shared. Well, excuse me. The 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 heart is not meant to be hindered and held hostage. It's meant to be shared. Okay? But in order to share your heart with someone, you must share your heart with your highest self. And that is your three spirit beings that consist of your own body. There's a scripture that says, my body is a temple for the Lord. And when you have a union with all three aspects of yourself, only then can you be with your partner. Why not try that? Practice comedic meditation. I've done it before several times, and it works. It works wonders. Okay? Never be afraid to love yourself. And don't love yourself to the point where you toxify yourself, to where you become you have a lack of understanding when it comes to love. You know, too much love can lead you to be selfish, stubborn. Okay? If you if you work too hard and work too much, you can tire yourself out. Take a break. Do something that will relax you. But when it comes time for you to be with that partner, you have to be willing to share your heart with her. And if you're not ready to share your heart with your partner, that means that you are not ready for the next level of your life. Because what most Western heterosexual men miss is sure marriage is a business, even a comedic marriage. I've I've seen pictures of people getting married the comedic way, okay? Which is something that I would want. However, I know that costs a lot of money. The the true purpose of growing in love with someone, the 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 true the true the true the true purpose of loving your physical feminine self, which is your life partner, i.e., the woman, is to love a higher aspect of yourself. In the in the in the in the Eastern heterosexual culture, we don't we don't try to mentally adjust people because that is a spirit of selfishness. You cannot carry traits of a westernized heterosexual culture if you are aware that you as an Eastern heterosexual are metaphysical and esoteric. Okay, we don't practice their way of life here. To an extent, it is about you, but it's but it but it but it's more so about the female because without the female, we as men would not exist. And a mature female teaches her daughter and her young son how to be an adult. Why why do you think ba- babies come into the world acting like adults, being being a little sassy pants, thinking they're grown at very very young ages? It's because they're it's because their soul, their ba in Kemetic spirituality knows that someday soon they're going to grow up and be adults too. This is where respect comes in at. Okay? I'm not gonna go into the whole detail of it, but the child should respect the parent first and foremost so that you as the child can gain the respect of the parent. When and when when the child doesn't respect the parent, he is bound for self-destruction. And when the parent doesn't respect the child, they are bound for introvertedness. The 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 emotional mentality of only caring about themselves and not their parents. This is a problem in Black American society today. then we wonder why with some kids why they get whoopings, as my parents would call them, why they get whoopings after they get finished talking back to you. You beat them, and they sass you again. It's because you it's because you're 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 not you're not respecting your your child's con- consciousness. Therefore, you can't you're not able to respect your child's feelings, and when you can't respect your child's feelings, how are you going to be able to receive love from the child when you're disrespecting them by not taking the time out to understand them, or even listen to them? Then then you wonder why they're so disrespectful towards you, and they're so corrupt towards you. Re, re, just like respect from a parent, respect from a child is also earned, because when you mistreat your child may not end up wanting to love you again, because it's going to be able to remember the way you treated them in the past. So always remember, my androgynous heterochromatic community, that the 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 gods and goddesses pleased with what I'm teaching. They said, "Keep going, Devin." Always remember, with loving one another comes respecting one another, because when you respect one another, you you also honor each other's being. Okay, always remember that. Okay, I have to get ready for work now. I just wanted to share this knowledge with you all. Remember to love yourself before you can love your partner. Love your parents. Love your children. Respect your parents and respect your children. Okay, because when you refuse to respect your children, they are not going to respect you. They're going to constantly rebel against you, and this is where the Western hetero community is failing at. Oh, I pray for my Western heterosexual community, that they learn from the wise heterosexuals. Children are not mouthy because they want to be. It's because their soul knows who they are. And it can also be that the child is learning uh, negative psychological behaviors from parents, i.e., potty mouth, okay, saying bad words, all right. The consciousness of a child is very fragile. The brain is like a sponge, and and you have to be careful what you soak into that child's brain, because they could end up holding in all that water, and they can get all of your objects wet, because if you put a sponge in water long enough, it's gonna continue to stay wet through the entire day. And even if it's dry, it's still locked with knowledge, with your knowledge that you taught that child. Okay? With that being said, th- th- this is your teacher saying Duba'u Nahotapu.